Hi, today my classmates are going to present a book by John Krakauer, Into the Wild. We're going to have a roundtable discussion about the good and bad points of the book.
Well, as my classmates said, my teammates Mario, Fabio, and Mauricio, we are going to analyze John Krakauer's Into the Wild novel. And well, what do you think about the chronology? I think that's one of the weakest points in the novel.
I agree with you because in the chronology, sometimes when I was reading it, I was feeling like confused about these temporal jumps in the novel. And what do you think, Mauri?
No, yes, also I agree with that because I think it's like a very weak point of the novel because like for me and a different reader, I think that it's very confused. Like start reading that type of book and you start like with the story of the main character and then you jump into another like ages and periods. That's like a some details that any kind of reader can have like a trouble in the process of reading. So I agree with that. It's strong, that weak sorry point. And another weak point that I noticed in the novel was that the beginning of the book starts like with the result of the novel in just like one chapter because they announced in the first chapter that the main character in this case was Chris McCandless that was found dead in a certain place. So I think that if you are starting reading the novel and you read that chapter, you will notice that you already have the end of the novel. I don't know. What do you think?
Yes, that part I always hate spoilers, but that the
Yes.
writer of the book tells you a spoiler in the first part of the book. That's not a really cool thing to do as a writer. Some writers can handle it, but I think that John Krakauer couldn't handle it. What do you think?
Well, I didn't like that the writer tells you at the beginning that the main character, that is Chris McCandless, is already dead. I think it could be more interesting if he, at the beginning of the book, will talk about Chris McCandless in his boyhood or something like that, and then talk about how he became like crazy, or I don't know, but I didn't like that part.
Yes, but before talking about the good points of the novel, another weak point that I get noticed in the novel when I was reading was that there are so many last names and surnames, like so many nicknames that can confuse a little bit in the moment that I want to like relate some characters with the story of the main character. I I confuse a little bit, and also as the novel says that the main character changed his name to Alex McCandless, so it can like change his life and all the stuff. In some points that you are reading like Alex McCandless or Chris McCandless, like you like can confuse a little bit, but it's not a lot strong weak point, but it can confuse our reader about it.
When I was making my reading of the book, I had the same problem because they are this like 300 person like that. His name are McCandles or something like that, and it was really confusing. Also, I didn't like that these 2 points that the names and the chronology worth and that the ugly chronology matches in some points, and it gets you in very very bad way.
Yes, it was a difficult novel to read, in my opinion.
And I also think that there are too many places, too many name places. So I know that is a great story, and he traveled a lot, but there are too many names to that you have to remember, and that's also kind of difficult.
Okay, and so talking about the good points of the novel, as you said, it has an excellent history, and I like a lot the drama of the main character in all the tragic of the novel. I don't know if you like another point.
I really like the point that the ideology that Chris McCandless has, like this nihilism, and that he always wanted to leave everything behind, get away from society. I think that it's an interesting part of the story that he wants to live alone and get away of all these things, because in some points of our life, I guess that we have this curiosity about what happens if we live our lives in this point of my life. So what else?
Also, I like that the life of the main character changed like to one day to another, because he was like a student, a normal student. He had excellent grades. He had good preference from their parents, and he has like a no problem life.
Yeah.
But in one day to another, he just decided to donate all his part of his money that was from his education, also his something of his clothes and just like that. And I like that because at the same time he wants like to abandon his life, but at the same time like try to help other people that doesn't have the same level economic as he has. I don't know, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I was a bit surprising that he, being a well positioned person, economically talking, and he just wanted to leave everything. But when some people want to be in his place, he just throw away everything.
Yes, and I also think that, well, as I said before, it is a great story, and I was very amazed because when you read it, I didn't believe that story could really happen in real life. It is like more fiction or something like that. And I also, I would like to say that also I like that there are some in some fragments of the book there are some like stories related that are close related to Chris
He wasn't the only one person that made this trouble.
and that talks about the writer did a great research to write the book.
Actually, the same author of the book like put some part of his life like relating into the novel. That I like that, but at the same time, I said that it was like too much. Like it is not. It was not necessary to add them in the novel, because I think that it's just like only contain like our are like no interest like in the main character's life, but I like that. But in the same time, no, it's like a controversial. But I don't know if you like it.
Yeah, well, as you said, this part of his life of the author can be put in a prologue or something like that. But how many stars we give it to the book?
In my opinion, I will put it 7 stars of 10 because I like it, but I have some problems to read it as we talked about in the beginning of this conversation. But 7 will be my final rate.
I agree with you, 7.3 maybe, 7.3.
Well, and I also I'll give it I'll give the book 7 out of 10 stars or points because it is a very good story and very interesting story, and I really liked it, but I didn't like that. Well, there are some weak points that are that make the novel like a little bit boring, but it's a great story.
Okay, thanks guys for your time. So
Thank you too, man.
this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoy it and see you the next time.